if we decided to no longer see ourselves as bodies, or no longer decided to see ourselves as gender or skin color, then perhaps we can enter a space where we can realize that we're all part of a collective, and we're all part of, a human experience. And what is that human experience? I don't know, but I just question if these inequalities are in fact stemmed from so many distractions that that pull us away from something intangible and far more spiritual, and there's just such an attachment to the physical universe, and identifying through that stream of thought that in fact creates the inequality. So I question if we negated, honing in on identifying so purely and solely on the physical world and the physical body that we're living in, I ask, maybe we could be far more connected.
That you kind of only want to do certain things, or only can do certain things, where actually a lot of the things that I would have preferred to do are more typically, in inverted commas, male roles. And if I tried to do those things or did do those things, they were sort of ignored or sometimes laughed at. This feeds through to being, to my experience of just being in a social circle around girls and boys. Yeah, the way that you're treated as a female has felt very compromising a lot of times in my life.
I don't know if it's necessarily strong. I don't necessarily see the word. I don't like strength and visibility don't always go hand in hand. Like sometimes strength, like visibility, can be thrust on people, especially people who are, say, closeted growing up, and then when entering into the music industry or working within some sort of field, like artistic field, are then kind of thrust into this sort of like role of being our figureheads, or being like people who are supposedly inspiring, or even just people that people have assigned some sort of, thing to look up to. Like when I was growing up, there wasn't.
I mean, it's a bit scary because it's like, well, then how are we going to be able to
in the public
instinctually react in person to things? Things are getting further away from the body. How are you able to connect with the body? Which is interesting because I think all that kind of mindful stuff, not mindful stuff, but like, say the practice of yoga, the stigma behind that as being mindful also has an image attached to it where perhaps the idea of the body as a shape in a particular way is leading the idea of having a sense of mindfulness or a sense of connection with your subconscious self or something. It's a kind of image, like the image comes first before like the practice of it, and that people are more susceptible to want to read things with image value at first, like it's superficial. There's something very superficial about getting away from the body.
I felt like I think this has to do with culture and gender together, because there were also not that many like brown or other people from other like races. So it was. I feel like it impacted me quite heavily because I felt like I couldn't really like, I want to say like make friends and build connections more easily. I couldn't do that as much as I would have done in an environment where I felt
New York City,
I was accepted, or where I felt like there was space for me to be there.
Has that male-dominated design feel, like tall buildings, functional. But they function merely for people to enter, get their job done, and leave. So New York City really has this feeling for me. Big cities in general have a male-dominated kind of feeling. And I say cities in general, but I am really attributing that to having lived in New York City.